Even though they once again have not acquired a star, people are loving the offseason put together by the Miami Heat. The Norman Powell acquisition, of course, is at the center of it all. He is the perfect addition for this team. But his arrival is also part of building up a larger strength not receiving enough attention. Next year's Heat squad is deep. Like really deep. In fact, they have quietly, expertly, assembled a bench mob that's just as deep as any other NBA team's rotation. Miami's depth chart is filled with NBA-caliber players. Figuring out Miami's rotation at this stage of the summer is difficult. Head coach Erik Spoelstra has at least a couple decisions to make with the starting lineup, which will directly impact who's on the bench. Powell could come off the pine, or begin games next to Tyler Herro. Either Kel'el Ware or Nikola Jovic could start alongside Bam Adebayo. Really, Adebayo, Herro, and Andrew Wiggins feel like the lone locks to open games. Regardless, the strength of the Heat's bench is undeniable when looking at their entire roster. Guards: Tyler Herro, Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Kasparas Giannis, Terry Rozier. Wings: Andrew Wiggins, Haywood Highsmith, Jamie Jaquez Jr., Simone Fontecchio, Pelle Larsson, Keshad Johnson. Bigs: Bam Adebayo, Kel'el Ware, Nikola Jovic. A couple of swing players will determine just how deep the rotation stretches. Keshad Johnson looks like a pretty good find, but it remains unclear whether he'll factor into the every-night rotation. The same can be said for Pelle Larsson and rookie Kasparas Giannis. At least one seems destined to become a mainstay. But neither's sharp it in for a definitive opportunity, though Larsson is doing his darndest to make sure that changes. Miami's depth also hinges on a couple of other questions. How will Haywood Highsmith look after undergoing knee surgery? Is Jamie Jaquez Jr. due for a standout third year after leveling off as a sophomore? Can Simone Fontecchio shoot better than he did last season with the Detroit Pistons? Is Terry Rozier even an NBA player anymore, or will he just collect dust until Miami finds a way to trade him? The Heat's bench could swing their spot in the East. Even if a few matters don't break the Heat's way, their worst-case scenario will be a rotation that stretches 9 to 10 actual NBA players deep. This isn't something most other squads can say. That may even understate the uniqueness of Miami's depth. The Cleveland, Houston Rockets, Los Angeles Clippers, and Oklahoma City Thunder all comfortably go 10 or more reliable names deep. After that, the Denver Nuggets might get there. The Orlando Magic have an outside chance, too. If you'll notice, though, this list of teams is heavily dominated by Western Conference teams. Few squads in the East match Miami's top-to-bottom optionality at full or partial strength. This isn't enough for the Heat to declare themselves a contender. They need at least one other high-end contributor to earn that designation. But given the fragile and wide-open state of the conference, Miami's depth has quietly armed it with a blueprint to shock the East, and perhaps the rest of the NBA, too. Where has a busy NBA offseason of transactions left the Heat in the Eastern Conference hierarchy? I explored that and looked at every Eastern team's rotation in this piece. On Monday, I asked a longtime Eastern Conference scout to offer his perspective on Miami's place in the East following the addition of Norman Powell. Some feedback. Black small square on where the Heat stands in the East after the Bucks added Miles Turner. The Pacers lost Turner to free agency and Tyrese Halliburton to a torn Achilles. The Magic added Desmond Bane. The Hawks improved significantly, and the Celtics lost Jason Tatum to a torn Achilles and parted ways with Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Al Horford, and Luke Kornet for financial reasons. Let's start with who's better. I see 6 teams for sure: New York, Cleveland, Orlando, Atlanta, Detroit, Milwaukee. Philadelphia is better if they're healthy. So I would say the Heat's a solid play-in team, in the same ballpark as Indiana and potentially better than Boston. They're not 10 or 11. They're more like 7, 8, or 9. It's around a .500 team. If they won 45, it would be a great year. They're not bad, but they're not good. Chicago is mediocre. The Heat is maybe a little better than mediocre. They have 3 very good NBA players with Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro, and Powell. We'll see about Ware. Andrew Wiggins is meh at this point. Black small square on acquiring Powell from the Clippers, at the cost of only Kyle Anderson and Kevin Love. That's a very good move. He's coming off a career year, and his shooting has been very good. The strange part is early in his career, he was a defensive guy. His defense was not very good last year. He became much more of an offensive player. Can he really become a two-way player? Even if he can't, he can put the ball in the basket, and they needed scoring and shooting. Black small square, what about a potential starting lineup of Powell, Harrow, Adebayo, Ware, and Wiggins? That backcourt would be very shaky defensively. Harrow as a primary ball handler, I don't know. Harrow as a number one point guard is funky to me. Ideally, Powell is your sixth man and finishing the game. Starting Davion Mitchell would give you a guy that can guard. What about Powell sharing some of the ball handling duties with Harrow and Adebayo if Mitchell plays off the bench? Powell is not a handler, the scout said. He's not a secondary ball handler either, in my view. He is a scorer. He is laser-focused on shooting and scoring. Black small square on Simone Fontecchio, who was acquired from Detroit in a sign-in trade involving Duncan Robinson. The year before last was good, when he averaged 10.5 points and shot 40.1% on threes. He's not a great athlete and somewhat one-dimensional, but he's very competitive. I wouldn't call him a 3-and-D guy, but he tries on defense. He struggled last season. He doesn't have much handle. But give him consistent minutes and he could be a guy that can make shots and a Heat culture guy. Not a great athlete. He's probably your ninth man, with Haywood Highsmith possibly out to start the season after knee surgery. Is he even playing on a good team? Maybe. Black small square on first-round pick Kasparas Jakashionis. NBA people I talked to in Las Vegas were killing him. Didn't have anything nice to say about him. Quickness and shooting were my concern. Can he beat skilled NBA players off the dribble? He better be able to make shots. His play was disappointing, but I'm not ready to judge. He's very young at 19. This and that Kai Jones is spending 4 days working out at Casillas Center this week as the Heat evaluates whether to sign the veteran power forward/center. One involved source said the Heat long has shown an appreciation for Jones' skill set but is merely kicking the tires to see if signing him would be something worth considering. Jones, 6'11", has played for Charlotte, the Clippers, and Dallas in a 3-year career and averaged 3.5 points, 2.4 rebounds, 0.5 blocks, and 10.1 minutes in 107 games and 6 starts. He played well in 12 games and 6 starts for Dallas late last season, averaging 11 points and 6.4 rebounds in 21.7 minutes per game, while shooting a remarkable 83.6% from the field, 61 for 73. Jones, who attended Orlando Christian Prep and Brewster Academy in New Hampshire, was drafted 19th overall by the Knicks in 2021 and immediately traded to Charlotte. A native of the Bahamas, Jones, 24, played in 28 games off the bench for the Clippers last season before being released March 1st. He joined the Mavericks on a 2-way contract the next day. The Heat has 14 players under standard contracts. Teams can carry no more than 15 once the regular season starts, but aren't obligated to begin the season with 15 players. Miami, which could use one more backup in its power rotation, could opt to fill the 15th spot before training camp or sometime early in the season. Another option for the Heat would be signing Jones to an Exhibit 10 contract, allowing him to compete for the 15th guaranteed contract during training camp. Black small square the Heat will not be featured in any of the league's marquee television slots announced Tuesday. Not a surprise for a team coming off a first-round playoff drubbing. As expected, ABC, ESPN, and the NBA opted against showcasing the Heat on Christmas for a second year in a row. Miami also won't be featured in any national telecasts during the first week of the season or on Martin Luther King Day. The NBA's Christmas ABC/ESPN games, in order, will be Cleveland, New York, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Golden State, Houston Lakers, and Minnesota, Denver. The first 4 of those games will compete with 3 NFL games on Christmas: Dallas, Washington, and Detroit, Minnesota, both on Netflix, and Denver, Kansas City, on Amazon Prime. NBC, beginning an 11-year deal with the NBA, will carry Oklahoma City, Houston, and Lakers Warriors on opening night, Tuesday, October 21st. The Heat is expected to receive very few national telecasts this season. The NBA will announce each team's 4 group play NBA Cup games on Wednesday and will release the full schedule on Thursday, with 2 of the 82 games to be determined after NBA Cup group play is concluded. Miami Heat forward Andrew Wiggins is one of the most sought-after potential trade targets this offseason. The Heat, at least for now, have decided not to pull the trigger on any Wiggins trades, but they were reportedly open to moving him if they could receive an instant impact player and a first-round pick in return. While the Heat ultimately kept the former first overall pick, they were willing to deal Wiggins if they received an instant impact player, along with an upcoming first-round pick before 2028, Brett Siegel of Clutch Points reports. Teams continue to monitor the Heat, specifically how they will handle Tyler Herro's upcoming extension window, to get a better idea of what direction they are trending in, he adds. The 30-year-old Canadian forward averaged 18.0 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.6 assists last season with the Golden State Warriors and the Heat, fixing NBA teams with just one trade.